of Management Studies IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course MMPC-007 Business Communication for MBA program. Presenting Block 4 Communication in Organization, Unit-12 Communication for Employment, Part-2. In Part 1, we have discussed Introduction, Resume, Video Resume, Curriculum Vitae, Interview Portfolio. In Part 2, we will discuss Interview, Types of Interviews, Process of an Interview, Group Discussion, Types of Group Discussions, Offer Letter, Summary of the Unit.
Interview. Interview refers to a formal, in-depth conversation between two or more persons wherein the exchange of information takes place with a view of checking a candidate's acceptability for the job. Interviews are considered to be the most practical way to understand the personality traits of the interviewee. There are various ways in which the interviewer can assess the candidate. She or he may ask technical or subject-based questions to check the technical acumen of the candidate. Certain HR-based questions can be asked to check the behavioral skills of the candidates. The time range of an interview is a subject matter. The interviews may be 5 minutes long to 1 hour or even more. Sometimes the candidate is selected in just 5 minutes, and sometimes a candidate may even get rejected after an hour-long interview. It all depends on how clearly and confidently the candidate creates the right impression in the mind of the interviewer. Types of interviews. There are many types of interviews that serve different scenarios. Knowing what to expect can help a candidate to meet his or her goals. In this section, we will discuss some common forms of interviews. Screening or telephonic interview. Calling a candidate at the office premises, organizing the interviews, and engaging the workforce to coordinate these interviews has its own cost. Sometimes, the organizations opt for initial screening of the candidates through telephonic interviews so that certain good and promising candidates can be identified. In these types of interviews, a preliminary check about the candidate's confidence, communication, and clarity of thoughts is assessed. Suitable candidates are then called for the other round of the interview. Personal interview. This is the most common type of interview and usually takes place in person at the organization's headquarters. The duration of the personal interviews may vary from 5 minutes to 60 minutes. Behavior-based interview. This interview method goes much deeper than the usual interview method. It requires thorough preparation of concrete examples that demonstrate candidates' attributes in key areas such as teamwork, problem-solving abilities, creativity, flexibility, and organizational strength. Task-based interviews or tests. These types of interviews are designed to be creative and analytical in solving problems across various tasks or assignments. It may include a short test to assess a candidate's technical knowledge and skills. Stress interview. This interview method is rare and the interviewer prompts to see a candidate's reaction. The point is to highlight a candidate's weaknesses and see how they react under pressure. Tactics can range from constant interruptions and weird silences to challenging questions which can push the candidate over the edge. Management-based interview. In these interviews, certain management-based interviews can be given to the candidates and the managerial skills can be assessed. At times, certain case studies or life situations in a team can be put in front of the candidate and then he may be asked to analyze the situation accordingly. Focused interviews. For certain specialized jobs, the analytical approach of the candidate may be assessed. Certain situations of a life work profile may be given to the candidates. These types of interviews are very focused as they specifically check the aptitude of the candidate by putting them across the daily challenges which they would face in their day-to-day work. Exit interviews. In present times, most of the organizations go for exit interviews. These are done when an employee exists from the organization for one or the other reason. The organizations conduct such interviews to get the feedback about the organization's functioning, which will help them assess their situation. Process of an interview. The process of an interview is a multi-stage process and takes place to hire new employees. There are certain steps involved in the interview process. These are job description, advertising the job, screening, scheduling interview, preliminary interview, personal interview, follow-up, hiring. Interview in itself is not the only step in the whole process. It starts with designing the job description, which gives the details of the qualifications, attributes and skills expected, etc. After finalizing the job description, the job is posted and the applications are invited. These applications are then screened and then interviews are scheduled. Applications are then screened and shortlisted. The shortlisted candidates can call for the preliminary rounds of interviews. Further, shortlisting is done and then the final round of interviews is conducted. After this stage, the best candidate is hired. Group discussion. Group discussion or GD is not only about talking, not even about talking sense, but it is more than talking sense. It also includes practicing a candidate's intellectual capacities to thoroughly consider the subject, pay attention to the perspectives of the other individuals, incorporating their perspectives with the candidate's own, and assisting the GD with showing up a constantly intelligent answer for the issue being talked about. Debating and public talking are one to numerous correspondence circumstances, though a GD is a many to numerous circumstances. To put it simply, in a GD, it is perspective of the whole gathering that matters the most, unlike that of a debate or public speaking. In a GD, the time designated is implied and is intended for the whole gathering and not to any one person. During the assigned time, every individual from the group will take part and each member needs to pay attention to the perspectives of the other individuals in the group. It is a conversation and the speaker will be intruded by other individuals from the gathering while she or he is talking. Likewise, every member attempts to grab the opportunity to talk or make sincere attempts to drive the discussion. Need for a group discussion. A GD estimates certain properties of the applicants that are generally hard to recognize and tedious to evaluate. Various individuals who can impart their thoughts well and examine successfully with others in a coordinated circumstance become silent in a GD. A GD distinguishes individuals who have such abilities and individuals who don't. Then, at that point, there are certain individuals who will make excellent audience members in a coordinated circumstance, yet, with regard to the individuals from a gathering, their listening abilities simply evaporate and all they appear to be keen on is their voice being heard by the group. In any GD, the individuals ought to have the tolerance and ability to pay attention to the perspectives of different individuals from the gathering. A GD is in this manner utilized verbally by selectors to survey whether the applicant has those skills required by the organization or not. Types of group discussions. Group discussions can be divided into three broad categories based on the topic or issue given for discussion. First, topic-based group discussions. Second, case-based group discussion. Third, article-based group discussions. Now, let us understand each type of discussion below. Topic-based group discussion. In a topic-based group discussion, the topics that are given in group discussions can be classified into information-based topics, non-knowledge-based topics. These classifications are explained below. Information-based topics. Information-based topics expect candidates to be well-read. Information-based subjects fall into various classifications dependent on the kind of information required. Non-knowledge-based topics. Non-information-based points are those that do not need any information based in a particular area for a candidate to have the option to discuss them. Routine and everyday information is adequate to work effectively in discussing such subjects. Candidates' common information and presence of mind will help him or her in taking on these types of topics. Non-information based points themselves can be classified into two areas, that is, substantial subjects and theoretical or conceptual themes. Substantial topics. While there is a great deal of conversation conceivable on these topics, the focal point of conversation is extremely clear independent of who talks about these themes. Conceptual themes. Conceptual themes are those with regard to which the actual understanding can fluctuate from one individual to another. Discussions on these themes can be exceptionally shapeless. In these GDs, a candidate has to think out of the box and needs to come up with multiple interpretations. Case-based group discussions. In such discussions, a hypothetical situation or a situation from real life is given, which is then floated to the group. The group is then asked to discuss the situation and try to interpret and analyze the situation. This type of GD is used to assess the analytical ability of the candidate. Article-based group discussions. These GDs cover a wide range of areas like current affairs, politics, economics, and technology, etc. The participants are given 4 to 5 minutes to read the article and are then asked to hold a regular group discussion of around 10 to 15 minutes on the article. Group discussions are important as they help the recruiters to assess the problem solving and analytical abilities of the candidates. Offer letter. An offer letter is a part of formal business communication. It is usually written by any organization which promises to offer a job, placement, internship, part-time job to any selected candidate. The offer letters are usually written by the HR department of an organization. The offer letter, as the name suggests, offers the complete information of the job, the profile being offered. It consists of the terms and conditions of the employment, that is, the salary package being offered, tenure of bond, details of incentives based upon the performance, joining date, entry and exit policy of the organization, medical insurance, earned and casual leaves, etc. A professionally written offer letter must be transparent, which gives that the terms and conditions of the employment should be clearly written without any hidden information. The terms and conditions should be easily understood by the reader as well. The offer letter is of significance because in case if the employee leaves the organization untimely or is caught in any malicious act, then at that time the terms and conditions in the offer letter can act as an important point of reference. Summary. In this competitive world, every candidate wishes to secure a lucrative employment offer. Some of the ideal characteristics which every recruiter would like to see in any candidate are clarity of thoughts, proactive approach, emotional balance, and sound academic knowledge with good communication skills. Every candidate should prepare an effective CV or resume or a portfolio which can help the candidate to market himself effectively. The interview is the first step that every candidate comes across. The interview is a meticulous discussion that takes place between an interviewer and an interviewee. Every interview is a selling process where the candidate is a seller and tries to present himself or herself effectively so that the recruiter can offer him or her a good job opportunity. Interviews have certain rules and regulations which every candidate must keep in mind. Apart from interviews, group discussions also assess various personality traits in a candidate such as group behavior skills, leadership skills, patience, communication skills, and ability to convince, etc.
You are listening to audiobook by School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program. Course code MMPC-007 Business Communication. Block 4, Unit-12, Part-2. Course Coordinator Professor Neeti Agrawal from School of Management Studies IGNOU. Voiceover by Santosh Bharati. Edited by Tarannum Jahan. Program assisted by Jagbandhu Jana. And program produced by Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.